Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show. I am your host, Matrixlord212, and I'm with Chris. What's up, Chris?
What's up, guys?
So what's happening with these movie delays, movies, like...
Kind of in a nutshell, I think that a lot of these production companies are waking up to the idea now that they're probably not going to get a lot of stuff in theaters this year.
Yeah.
So some of them are looking for alternative routes. Not many are going the route of putting movies on demand or on like these video streaming services. Some of them are.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are just opting to move things to 2021. And the prediction that I'm going to make, and again, I could be wrong based on how, the end of the year goes and into 2021, but I think around the beginning of 2021, probably even before that, they're going to come, and by they, I mean these production companies and the general audience that goes to the movies, obviously, are basically going to come to the conclusion that this is something that people have to live with.
Yeah.
And they are going to open up theaters again. And they are going to put stuff out there with their expectations for how much they're going to make lowered because of the idea that some people are going to be, kind of comprehensive about going, or apprehensive, I should say, about going to the theater.
Yes.
Me personally, if you asked me, would I go to a theater right now? I would go. I would go. I'd probably wear a mask, maybe not the whole time, but I would just be a bit more cautious about, sitting away from people and trying not to touch my face, and bringing my own food and drinks to the theater so that I don't have to have people behind the counter touching it. I would get my ticket online so I'm not having that, interaction with the people at the front desk.
Right.
The box office, I should say. But I don't think that because this isn't sustainable. So
yeah.
I think that, this year is kind of a wash, and I get that. But as far as anybody who thinks that 2021 is going to be like it was this year with the virus, how it's been handled, I think they're going to be in for a pretty big surprise.
Yeah, before I would say yes, I would go to the movies, but the realization, like having, it hit close to home, this virus, and losing someone, I would say no. Like now. And that wasn't my opinion months ago, but when it hits you close, then things change. I think that by December, towards the end, you're gonna see, because again, my theory was always that it would be over before New Year's.
Yeah.
And if it actually lasts to New Year's, I'd be surprised, because New York City revenue for New Year's Eve is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the one time it would have to end would be New Year's. If it doesn't, then I would be really depressed, because like for them to lose that means that the virus is really bad. So I would think that 2021 would be the year without the coronavirus, and things would go back, because again, if it doesn't go back to the way it was, people are going to go out of business. And a lot of places are going out of business because they were promised by the government that they would be taken care of if they closed, and they weren't.
Right.
So there's probably going to be a whole bunch of lawsuits too. There's going to be a whole bunch of nonsense too, because people, I mean, if you really think about it, when you're eating outdoors and you're putting tents up, it's eating indoors. You're making outdoors indoors.
Yep.
And it doesn't make no difference that you can't eat inside the building. And now it's just an annoyance now, because now it's all over the sidewalks that people are eating with chairs and tables. And when you walk by, you have to wear a mask. And then like 150 people don't have to wear a mask. And I think that's purely stupidity. And there is legal ramifications that they're told not to reopen the movies or not to reopen a mall. But you could have hundreds of people on the sidewalk. So I feel that there needs to be a lawsuit that, look, it's a thing. If you want to go to the movies, go to the movies. It's at your own risk.
That's what I think. That's what I think is gonna wind up happening. Is that at some point, people are gonna be like, listen, this can't go on. It seems obvious to me now that you can go one of two ways. You can either lock everything down again, which will last a month, and then people will lose their minds collectively and be like, I'm going outside. We already saw that happen in May of this year, where people were like, no, we're not doing this.
Right.
Or you do what you just said. Eventually you come to the point where it's like you have to take this into your own hands and be like, well,
right,
if I'm gonna get sick, I'm gonna get sick. Like I knew somebody who got it, and she's totally fine right now.
Right.
Yes. So I mean, it's gonna. I think what is gonna happen is that the narrative after the election, because I think a lot of what we're seeing right. I'm not trying to get into conspiracy theories or anything, but I think a lot of what we're seeing right now has to do with everything that's going to happen in November. I think post-November, depending on who wins, the narrative is going to change from this was really bad to, well,
it wasn't that bad. Right. I agree with you to an extent, but it's just a tricky situation. It's people are disobeying the rules now. They're trying to make it like you got to wear a mask to go into stores, right?
Right.
And the place I work at, we have that too. You need to wear a mask coming into the store. The amount of, I'm going to call them offenders that are doing this is so huge that I think eventually, within the span of a couple of weeks, the rule that you have to wear a mask is going to go away because there's too many people disobeying it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, people were quarantined, people are done. They're done with it. They don't give a shit, and they're willing to break the rules. And all these businesses, like, you all day long, you want to make money. You can't be fighting with people all day long about wearing a mask.
No,
It's to a point where even some people, they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to tell these people no, and then there's a scene in front of the store, and then nobody's coming in. It's like, get your stuff and get out.
I can give you a really good example that literally happened like 4 hours ago. After work, I went to Walmart because I was looking for some stuff, and I was wearing a mask. My personal belief is that the mask only mitigates it to a point, but I wear it anyway just so I can get into the store.
Right.
So I was leaving, and there was a woman walking in, and she didn't have a mask on. She had it in her hand, and I think she was gonna put it on when she got in the store. But the Walmart attendant there was wearing a mask, and he pointed to his mask when she was walking in, and she looked at him, and she just went no. And he was like, that's okay. I'm just doing it so that the camera sees that I did it.
Oh.
So, I think you're right. I think that this is going to last for about another month, and then people are going to be like, forget the mask.
You can't. There's going to be too many lawsuits and too many people fighting, and now everybody wants to be a YouTuber and they want to stream themselves fighting with Walmart or somebody else.
Yeah.
And I'm getting tired of it too, because in real life I'm seeing it and I'm like, I just don't want to deal with that at all.
No.
I don't feel personally that my mask is strong enough to protect me, but I wear it, right? But you try wearing it 12 hours a day, I'm very bitter. I'm very uncomfortable. When I come home, I'm like negative. I'm trying to be positive. I can't breathe all day long. I have to go to the bathroom, take it off. I'm tired. And if your air conditioner doesn't work, then it's fucked. And working in the store, it's hot. It's just like,
yeah.
So I deal with it, but I just don't want to deal with it. But I deal with it, So, and we see in these movies that they try to have a release date. They changed it so many times, and then some of them said, "Screw it, we're off the table." Like Tenet, right? That it was totally off the table now.
Tenet, Mulan, both of those are off right now.
And Halloween to delay to another Halloween. My thing was, well, then why isn't Wonder Woman or Black Widow movie?
So this is the some of the studios are attempting to put something out. I don't know. Tenet falls into that category too, because apparently they're now shooting for an August release date, like the end of August. They want to see. I don't see that happening.
Right.
But I don't know. I think that there are. You know what I think it's becoming? I think it's starting to become a race between who can get their movie out first when all of this is done. And that movie may or may not make a really good amount of money.
I mean, here's the thing. You got to think of it. When the movie theaters reopen,
yeah,
the movie that's there when it happens
is going to make
it's going to make tons of friggin' money. I think it
Yep.
would make more money than it would ever make before.
Agreed.
Right?
Yep.
So Black Widow and Wonder Woman are not moving because they feel, well, hey, if it's going to open up, we're here. We have no competition, right?
Yeah.
When is Wonder Woman supposed to be released?
October, I think.
And Black Widow is November, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
So they won't interfere with each other. Definitely
not. Not really. No.
So they're just going to leave it there.
I think so.
If they move Black Widow, the whole MCU is screwed. They have to change everything around.
To be honest with you, though, I think that's coming. I really think that we're going to
already is coming. Even Sony stuff is getting delayed.
Yeah, I think we're going to see major shifts with the MCU because Avatar moved to the next December, and then the Star Wars movies, apparently they had 3 release dates set, have all been delayed.
Yeah.
To like 2023, 2025, 2027. Again, we still don't even know what the hell those are, but those have all been moved. I'm expecting that the MCU is. Well, I'll say this: you know that the situation is bad when even the MCU is like, "What the fuck do we do?"
You're right.
You know, like,
even the comic books, they're so fucked up. They don't know what the fuck to do, and then they're trying to get it back to the comic books 100%. But then they kind of canceled stuff that's not canon now. Yeah. They just canceled the Star Wars. Marvel just canceled the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker comic, right?
Yeah.
There's so much to talk about with this COVID thing, because not only just that, but we got big things with Star Wars. That is Kathleen Kennedy gone or not?
No, she's not.
She's not gone. It's all bullshit.
Yep. At the moment, she's still there. Yeah.
Okay, so all this stuff about altering the timeline and
here's my thing about that. I'm not willing to throw that off the table. Kathleen Kennedy being gone, she's not gone right now. Okay. I believe she's going to step down in 2021. Okay. That is my prediction because I feel that they are. I don't know if they're necessarily happy with the way everything has gone.
Things are kind of toxic.
Yeah, and I don't think that she is going to want to stay there with the direction that they're going in. I think she's probably going to move on to something else or she's going to retire. Either way, no matter what we think of the movies, Kathleen Kennedy has had a very successful career. And, I think that she deserves to be happy with, what she did what she wanted to do, and I don't have any issues with her like that. I don't agree with everything she did, but I don't have anything against her personally. The whole thing about the retcon for the sequel trilogy came from a source that has been very accurate in the past.
Okay.
Specifically with sequel trilogy stuff.
Okay.
I don't believe that it's going to happen, but I definitely believe it was a conversation that took place at Lucasfilm.
So George Lucas and a whole bunch of people talked about this to fix it.
No, I don't think George Lucas was involved in this.
Okay.
I think that there were people who are actively working at Lucasfilm who were involved with this.
Was this Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau or no?
Well, if this actually happened, and I always say if with this because it's very shaky and it sounds very fan fiction-y to me, but there are several ideas that would have come from Rebels specifically the World Between Worlds. And the way that this kind of all played out was the scene in The Rise of Skywalker where Rey encounters Dark Rey, the Sith version of herself. Allegedly, and I have to go back and watch this scene again because I need to confirm this for myself, but apparently in that room that she goes into that was housing the Wayfinder, apparently there were mirrors in that room. And allegedly what these mirrors were they were basically like Force-sensitive tools that Palpatine constructed. And what they did was they allowed him to peer into alternate universes using the Force. It was kind of like a way for him to look into the World Between Worlds without actually going into the World Between Worlds. Okay? Apparently what happened was he was aware that he was probably going to die on the second Death Star in Return of the Jedi. And we know that that's true because he says that in one of the novels, that he felt that he wasn't going to make it out alive, which is really idiotic in my opinion, that they had him say something like that. But anyway, so he apparently had these mirrors and the Wayfinder moved to the second Death Star when he got there in Return of the Jedi. He also had a second set of these mirrors placed on Exegol. And his plan was, if he died, he would use essence transfer to transfer his consciousness from his body into these mirrors and get out from the second Death Star and come out on Exegol and enter the clone body that we see him in The Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
So let's say all that happened. Then the events from after Return of the Jedi all the way up to The Rise of Skywalker take place.
Right.
What this leaker was saying was, if there was going to be a retcon, what would happen is somebody, they didn't say who, they didn't allude to anybody, so that is up to speculation, but somebody would have discovered Palpatine's plan here and used the world between worlds to go back to the moment where Vader throws Palpatine down the energy shaft of the second Death Star and prevent Palpatine from being able to use essence transfer to get into the mirrors to go into.
But how do you do that though?
So they would what they would do is X character would go into the world between worlds, find the portal or mirror, whatever you want to call it, where Palpatine would come out after he died on the second Death Star, and then stop his spirit from getting to Exegol.
How does he stop his spirit?
Basically, in the world between worlds, you can do that, I guess.
I mean, it's a Force ghost. Or
technically, he's not a Force ghost. Technically, he would just be a consciousness.
But how could you just stop that's just, now you're getting.
Well, that's the thing. I don't understand.
Okay, so let's just say the person.
Because there's more to this story than just that. Essentially, what would happen then? Let's say X character was successful in stopping Palpatine from his consciousness from getting to Exegol.
Okay.
After he died in Return of the Jedi. What would happen then is whether or not Rey would be born would be in question, and whether or not Ben Solo turns to the dark side would also be in question.
She wouldn't be born.
So I agree. In my opinion, Rey wouldn't be born, and Ben wouldn't turn to the dark side in that way.
Okay. I have a question.
Yeah.
So the Death Star had the mirrors. The Exegol, how do you say it?
Exegol.
Exegol had mirrors.
Yes.
Did the planet that Luke was on, where Rey went into with all those mirrors, was that there too?
That is allegedly another entrance to the world between worlds. Potentially.
Okay. So
potentially.
So technically, Luke could have went in there, went all the way back to the Death Star, prevented the Emperor from going through, and came back, or no, he wouldn't be able to come back, right? Because wouldn't the timeline change?
Luke would be able to go back to his regular timeline.
Well,
we saw that with Ahsoka. When Ahsoka's timeline was changed, she was able to go back to her normal one. And
so in other words, time travel and altering the past, no.
I think the way that it works in Star Wars is that even if you change a timeline, like let's say you change X timeline, you can go back to yours because the world between worlds houses every possibility. That's how it worked with Ezra. That's how it worked with Ahsoka.
So someone could go back 20 times and stop the Emperor from coming in.
Yeah.
But that's kind of confusing too.
It's okay. So here's my main problem. I have three main problems with this actually. One, despite what we all think about these movies,
right?
They made money.
Okay.
They made a lot of money.
I understand that, but here's the thing.
Wait, hold on. Let me finish this because this is important.
It is important.
They made money. Okay, that's the number one. Number two,
Right.
how do you explain this to the general audience to the point where they go, "Oh yeah, okay." Do you make a movie? Do you now make a trilogy?
You make a
retconning your
movie.
past
I'll tell you
trilogy?
what. You make a movie, right? And the whole point is that the Emperor wanted Rey to strike him down,
Yep.
so he could possess her.
Yep.
So no matter what way she strikes him down, he gets what he wants.
That was the other theory. Yes.
So technically, she should be possessed right now.
Yes.
Without even knowing it, because she's an idiot.
Well, yeah. Here's the other problem though. This theory assumes that everybody watched Rebels.
Not everybody watched Rebels.
Exactly, and understands what the World Between Worlds is.
Not everybody watched.
I have spoken to fans of Star Wars, very big fans of Star Wars, who when I bring up the World Between Worlds, they go, "What's the World Between Worlds?"
Right.
So if they don't know about it, your general audience has no fucking clue that this is
here's the thing. Even though you're the biggest fan ever, there is the fans of Star Wars that don't consider anything animated
right.
to be canon. Like they see it as something completely different. Like the whole thing with Ahsoka.
Not willing to watch it.
Right. They don't acknowledge Ahsoka. They don't acknowledge Rebels. They don't acknowledge anything where like Anakin had a Padawan. None of that stuff.
Right.
Because they don't think that that's canon, technically.
Right.
Even the books or whatever.
Now, this is a good point that you brought up, though. Like, okay, so we have Ahsoka, right?
Right.
We now have to ask, who is X character that would go back and do this?
Ahsoka.
Because we have a major problem here.
You introduce her in The Mandalorian.
Right.
She's canon. Like, even though they say she's canon, once she's in The Mandalorian, she's canon.
I mean, she's really canon now, but
she's canon, but once you have it in the live action, she's established.
Then you can't deny it anymore. Then it's like, she's canon. So here's
people
the
gonna watch
problem.
Mandalorian, they'll be like, who the hell is that? And they'll be like, oh shit.
Here's the problem that they're running into now. Mark Hamill doesn't want to come back.
No.
So that eliminates Luke from being able to do this.
You know.
Daisy Ridley doesn't want to come back.
Nope.
So that eliminates Rey from doing this. John Boyega doesn't want to come back, so Finn can't do it. Oscar Isaac, you wouldn't have Poe do something like this. That would just be ridiculous. There's only one person, two people that could do this. And in my mind, if you were going to do this, you would need both of them.
Who's that?
You either get Hayden Christensen back as Anakin, and Anakin finds Palpatine in the World Between Worlds, and that makes sense because Anakin is a Force ghost, so it could be like a consciousness versus Force ghost kind of thing.
He's still the chosen one.
Exactly. And this would make a lot of people really happy because, his whole chosen one thing has been thrown into question now. If he's the one who stops Palpatine, then that gets rectified. The other person is Ahsoka because she's been in the World Between Worlds and she knows about it. So in my mind, you get Anakin and Ahsoka to do this.
I honestly think what you need to do is you need to have an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie where you show Hayden Christensen flashbacks, where you show Ahsoka besides The Mandalorian.
That's going to happen in the Obi-Wan show.
It is going to happen.
It's definitely going to happen. I'm willing to wager money on that's going to happen.
Then somehow you get Daisy Ridley back, and she becomes this evil character. And I know she probably won't want to do that because nobody wants to be a villain, and then they got to be taken out and stuff like that.
She should have been a villain after 8, in my opinion. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
You have it that now that the future is dark, he possessed her, whatever. He got what he wanted, and the Force brings back Anakin into the land of the living, just purely alive, which can be done, I believe. I've always said that. that it could be.
They would probably bring him back from the World Between Worlds, if anything.
He would be alive again, and he battles her, and after battling her, he realizes that the Emperor is too powerful and the world, everything is screwed, the universe is screwed, and he decides to go into the thing and prevent the Emperor from coming out. Now, would he be able to return back to his universe?
Yes.
Would he even want to because he was dead and now he's alive again? Or would he stay?
They wouldn't bring him back to life. They would go some kind of different route.
I mean, maybe he would like die trying to prevent him from coming in. Maybe.
I don't know. You know, they had the blueprint for how to write Palpatine out to where he couldn't come back with the Dark Empire series, where
I agree with you now that it was a mistake to bring him back.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, if I know that the biggest problem with The Last Jedi that people have was the way that Luke was portrayed, and I don't.
I told you that did not. Yeah.
I don't blame anybody for feeling that way. I may not agree, but I don't blame anybody for feeling that way. I really don't. But to me, the biggest problem with The Last Jedi, and again, I like The Last Jedi, but I'm willing to admit that there are problems with it.
Yeah, just like Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. The biggest problem with The Last Jedi was the fact that they killed Snoke. When they killed Snoke, that sent this into a spiraling out of control mess.
Correct.
Because had Snoke lived, they could have done anything they wanted in 9. They could have had
Snoke was supposed to be the villain, right?
I'm telling you, the blueprint was right there. You have.
So who killed Snoke? Rian Johnson?
I don't know.
He's the one that went against everything?
He didn't see, but that's the thing. He didn't go against everything because he told them that he wanted to do this, and they were like, "Yeah, that's okay."
But here's the thing: they totally fucked up everything.
They did. Well,
I'm willing to say, look, if the only way to fix this is to wipe Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker from canon, then I'm willing to say wipe it from canon. Even though I like Rise of Skywalker, not Rise of Skywalker, I like Force Awakens. Like, there's no way around it. Here's the thing, as a Star Wars fan, I don't want to see any more movies in the present where Rey is here and Finn and
I don't think they're gonna get those anyway.
I don't. And I don't even want them to go like far in the future from the Rey point, because I'm so disgusted with the whole thing that they've done. Like, I would literally want them to wipe the whole damn thing. And it's sad to say, but you know what, though? Just like I would and you probably agree with me, wipe Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Alien, all the stuff, just wipe the whole damn thing.
Yep.
Because this is the only way you can fix it. Yes, we'll lose some cool stuff, but I don't care. I don't care. Because I never got to see what I wanted to see, was Luke and Leia and Han together.
I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't think that they can fix it. I think they have to just bite the bullet.
They have to wipe it.
I think
have to wipe
my thing is this, right? What do you do if you wipe it? Because these people don't want to come back anymore. The characters that people want to see are too old and they don't want to come back. And unfortunately, Carrie Fisher.
And they're not allowed to even use anything
this is what I'm saying. I think they need to just abandon this point in time in Star Wars and then do something else and do it right. They either need to go back into the High Republic or the Old Republic, or
let me ask you a question.
Stories from somewhere else.
Is there any footage that they didn't show from Return of the Jedi? Alternate footage in the celebration with the Ewoks that they could erase the timeline and then they could show different footage from Return of the Jedi, different dialogue at the end to make it feel like realistic.
No.
There's
deleted,
no other footage.
The only deleted scenes that I know of, the main one is where Luke is building his green lightsaber on Tatooine. But that's
so
it.
They couldn't show that. They couldn't show like.
They could show it, but it wouldn't change anything.
I mean, what a shit.
This is what I think we have to, as Star Wars fans, we unfortunately have to accept the fact that 7, 8, and 9, and I like 7 and 8, so I'm not too upset with this, but we have to accept the fact that that is how they chose to end the story, at least in that part of Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I think I try to tell a lot of people, well, the way I look at it is that the that the Skywalker saga ended with Return of the Jedi, and 7, 8, and 9 are an epilogue. They're not.
Yeah, because here's the thing, like, I don't care what anybody says, she's not a Skywalker.
She's not a Skywalker. You're not wrong.
And I'm not. I really don't like the fact that the most evilest person in the fucking universe is grandkid.
See, this is
why, like Hitler having a grandkid.
Exactly. This is why
nobody wants to see that.
This is why when everybody was trying to tell me, no, it's stupid that she's not related to anybody, I was like, no, it's way better that she's not related to anybody because it's gonna fuck something up.
She should have been Luke's daughter, or she should have been somebody. But not a Palpatine.
I think she should.
Because that doesn't make any damn sense.
I think she should have been a reincarnation of the Chosen One.
Yeah, I didn't want that at all. You know that.
Did. I'll tell you why I wanted that, because then
she was supposed to be something. That was just weird.
That opens up possibilities for every point in Star Wars where you can tell a story, and technically you could say that the Chosen Ones were actually known as Skywalkers when the first one was born.
See, I don't like that at all either. The fact that there's a million, I don't like that either.
But there are.
Skywalkers are Skywalkers. It's like Luke, it's Anakin and Luke. That's it.
If we want to get really technical, Anakin, there is no Skywalker lineage. Really.
Before Anakin.
No, because his mother basically just used the last name Skywalker.
Right. That wasn't her name, right?
So I mean, and the fact that in the Thrawn trilogy, the new one, when Anakin tells him his last name, he says, "Oh, on my planet, we call Force users Skywalkers."
Yeah, but see, that's like rewriting how Han Solo got his name Solo. Like that's like, how the fuck would she know that to create the name Skywalker?
Because it was a thing that spread throughout the galaxy.
No, but who gave? What's her name? Shmi.
Shmi Skywalker, yeah.
Right. Like, wasn't that her name the whole time?
Not technically, no. Her name was Shmi, but where she got the name Skywalker, we don't know.
Where did she? I mean, we saw Phantom Menace.
Well, that's the thing, is they could have told that story that she or her parents or somebody, they heard the legend of the Skywalkers.
But they didn't. She just called it, that was her name, Shmi Skywalker.
Yeah, but we don't know that. We don't know that, though. Like, we don't know.
How do we not know that, though?
Because she was just a slave. Most of the time, slaves didn't have full names.
But she did. She said, didn't she say her name?
She said Shmi Skywalker, but we don't know where she got the name Skywalker. Skywalker.
Why couldn't that just be her name? Like, why couldn't that just be her name?
It could be.
See, my thing. Here's my thing about this. I don't like this whole thing, like you said, about Thrawn saying like, "Oh, Skywalker's a few." Because here's the thing. It was Anakin, and and then it was Luke and Leia, but like. The whole fact that now you have to go backwards and say, "Oh, it was Skywalker, and that's why she got." I don't like that. And why can't it just be that that's her name, and that's Anakin's name, and that's Luke's and Leia's name, and you don't need to have like, "Oh my God,"
because that's not the way they wanted to go.
They changed too much shit. That's the problem.
Well, what they should have done, which is the way because again, if you look at the end of the Rise of Skywalker, we're now back to square one, because the way that they're saying it, she's gonna restart the Jedi Order, but the Jedi Order was part of the problem. So I hate this idea that we're doing this with the Jedi again, because it's like, well, nobody's learned anything.
I mean, here's the thing. Why can't you have it that the Jedi they became too fucking cocky, and that was it. Like
that was the problem.
I mean, that's it. And she's trying to have a new order, but the right way, not the fucking wrong way.
Right, exactly. But the way that they presented it at the end of the Rise of Skywalker was like, well, we're going to be the Jedi again. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, and Luke all of a sudden is not throwing the lightsaber. It's like all different, like he's supposed to.
I'm going to.
That's the way he's supposed to be.
I'm going to say this: the way that Luke was portrayed in the Rise of Skywalker,
yeah,
that's the portrayal that I found insulting.
But that's the way he's supposed to be.
Well, this is the thing.
He's supposed to be.
He's supposed to be like that, but more, because the way that basically, if you look at what he did in the Rise of Skywalker,
right,
he basically told Rey, "Hey, here's this lightsaber. Go fight Palpatine." Like he didn't tell her.
It wasn't the Luke in Last Jedi. He admits that was wrong.
Yeah, and so at that point, I'm just like, somebody in this company has a vendetta against this character, because
they have a vendetta against Last of the Jedi, the Last Jedi.
No, I think it's a vendetta against Luke himself. I really do.
I thought they had a vendetta when they did Last Jedi.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I think that somebody back there doesn't like the Luke character.
Somebody,
like, let's fuck him up.
Yeah, they definitely fucked him up though. That's apparent. That's why I would want them to come back just to fix it.
What I thought they should have done with the end of the Force Awakens, because to me, if somebody asked me, I would not change anything in the Force Awakens. I would leave it alone. But I thought what they were going to say was that Luke, after Ben turned to the dark side, Luke went to find like the first Jedi Temple to see maybe why the dark side keeps claiming people. Right. And something that he found made him say, there's no point to this.
But why couldn't the Luke that was in Last Jedi not be our Luke? With all the mirrors and shit and that thing, why couldn't he just be another reality Luke? Or a clone? But because here's the thing, if you started it where this is all, okay, let's just say this is all in Luke's head. And this is not really Luke. Would it be bad to continue from, like, just Force Awakens and just wipe Last Jedi and Rise? People wouldn't accept that, right?
So here's the problem.
Because they did it with Halloween. They wiped out all the other Halloweens.
Yeah,
why couldn't they just do it where, like, Luke is a prisoner of Snoke or something, like, really, and that's not really Luke?
Because I hate to say it, but it's too late.
Is it really too late?
Yeah, like, I mean, because the thing is that, you know, A, you have Mark Hamill not wanting to come back. B, you know, the story's been told, and C, I don't think
they even thought it was a joke when they were like, "Oh, what do you think of it?" They were like laughing, like it's shit. Like even C-3PO, Anthony Daniels thought it was shit.
George Lucas liked it.
He liked Rise of Skywalker.
He did, yeah.
Didn't he have a cut? Didn't he have a cut though of it? His own.
Oh no, not the Rise of Skywalker. I'm talking about the Last Jedi.
Oh, I fucking hated that.
He liked it. That was his story.
That was his thing.
It was
Kira. That's shit.
It was Kira finding Luke on this planet, and it was worse. It was worse in his story because on like half the movie he was like, "Fuck you, I'm not training you."
But the whole point is like when George Lucas established it, you can't just have powers. You got to train for years. Wasn't that the whole thing?
No.
You got to no,
because their answer to that was because she's Palpatine's granddaughter, she's exponentially more powerful. That's what and again, that's another reason why I wanted her to be a reincarnation of the Chosen One, because the Chosen One would be that powerful. But
all right, so let me ask you a question. Here's the thing. Could you turn the Mandalorian or Obi-Wan series into a vehicle for where someone from the future interacts with them?
No.
And
because
you can't.
The Razor Crest was in The Rise of Skywalker, so he was involved in the Battle of Exegol, which means he would have known what was going to happen if we go that route. He would have been like, "Oh, I knew this."
So how would you go about, like, I'm trying to think. The only way there would be a purpose for someone to go into there is that the future is fucked, and she's killing everybody, and she's possessed, and Poe and Finn have to get with this guy that's, you know, whatever, maybe Anakin, whatever, and they have to get him there because she's a lost cause. Like, that's it. And they got to get him to exit the goal and go through the thing. And at the end, the whole end would be that he would stop the Emperor, whoever, right? You'd have to have a whole movie about it. You would have to have a whole movie where they all come back, Poe, Finn, and Rey.
And that's not going to happen.
And the fact that she would be the villain, she would not say yes to.
Well, this is the thing. It's just that they don't want to do any more Star Wars films for whatever reason.
Right, but then if you do it where she gets prevented from being born, then you're gonna have a whole shitstorm of people.
Well, this is
they're gonna go fucking ape shit.
This is the other problem too, is that the younger generation who got into Star Wars because of these movies, they're not going to turn their back on them.
Oh shit.
And I'll tell you this right now too. I didn't know this until a little while ago, but Kylo Ren merchandise sells very well with children.
Yeah.
Because of his mask, because of his lightsaber, they're not gonna retcon him.
You can't really. I guess.
And the amount of now children that are.
He shouldn't have died. First of all, I was pissed.
He shouldn't have died. Absolutely.
I was pissed. I still not happy about it.
I'll tell you what. There's a couple of live streams. They're pretty long, but they're so worth the listen. The YouTube channel Star Wars Theory. Him and another guy did 3 live streams where they read the script from Colin Trevorrow.
Yeah.
About the original Episode 9. It was astounding.
Why can't they just film it?
I'll tell you know what they did. I'll give you a little tidbit about what happens at the end. Rey and Kylo Ren have a lightsaber duel on a planet called Mortis, which is a big thing in Clone Wars.
Yeah.
He beats her, and he blinds her with his lightsaber. And at the end of the movie, he realizes what he's doing. And he's like, this is just like a never-ending cycle of dark side, light side, dark side, light side. So he doesn't turn back to the light, but he basically just kind of gives up on this idea.
Does he cure her? Like a
reborn? She does get cured, and right before he dies, he looks at her and he says, Solana.
What does that mean?
That's your name.
Solana?
Yes.
That's Rey's name?
That was supposed to be her name.
Solana.
And she was not related to anybody. She was royalty from another planet. And he dies, and she knows her name. And just the way that everything played out was so perfect. And there's a scene with Luke, and he's basically haunting Kylo Ren. He's like, listen, you killed your father. Your mother's gone. I'm gone, but I'm never going to be, none of us are going to be away from you, because however much you hate us, we are all part of you. And it is an amazing, it's just an amazing script. The way that they did it. There were things in it that I was kind of like, okay. But the movie opens up with fucking Kylo Ren taking over Coruscant, and he instills General Hux as a puppet chancellor. And then he goes off looking for this dark side being that was in communication with Palpatine, and then he teaches him how. The whole point was he was going to become more powerful than Vader and Palpatine and all these other Sith, and he was like, I'm going to become something better than the Sith. And it was perfect. It was the way they did it. And Rey, her lightsaber was her staff with Anakin's, like the top of Anakin's lightsaber built into it, and it was a double-bladed blue lightsaber. And they said that it was like 5 years later, and she'd been training for 5 years, and that's why she was so strong. And I was like, this is like a no-brainer, like the stuff that happened in this. And then Finn had a great arc where he was like, I was a stormtrooper, I turned away from it. I see all these other First Order stormtroopers, I can turn them too. And he makes like a call to arms for them, and they all rise up against the First Order, and it was amazing. And I'm sitting there like, why did this not get made?
It's too much money.
But this is from Disney. I mean, they got the fucking bottomless checkbook.
I know. All right, so what if we do this? What if we do this?
I want to clarify something, too. there are a lot of people who were like, oh, this is a stupid line. Huck says I lost the Star Wars. He doesn't say that. It is a line in the script that was written in there as a note from Colin Trevorrow. It was not an actual line of dialogue. Just saying.
So here's the thing now. All right. Everybody wants to go back because the present sucks, right?
Right.
So why don't we just do it where it's like 400 years later? Nobody has any record. Nobody remembers any of this shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just start up again, like the Jedi start up or the Sith start up or some happens, whatever, and someone's learning to be a Jedi or so, and there's things about the Empire or whatever that's remembered, but all this other stuff isn't remembered, and just not reference anything else. Like
they could do that.
Like you don't have to have the Millennium Falcon. You don't have to have Chewie. You know, like something different. You know, like like have C-3PO, have R2-D2. That's all you need.
You know what would happen? Well, basically what would happen is that they would do a time jump of whatever. There would be Jedi around. There would be a Republic or whatever. And somebody would find R2-D2 and C-3PO in like some kind of like storage thing.
Right.
And they would learn about what happened in the past and like, oh, it sounds
that's
like
fine.
what's happening, you know, what's happening again. That's probably what they would do.
That's fine. I mean, even if there was Jedi and Sith established now, that's fine. I just don't. Oh, it sucks because we're going in the past, right? And the past is good. Like the Mandalorian is good. You know, like
that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to just continue
Obi-Wan,
to go
it's good
and tell that stuff.
But then you get back to the shit. That's the sad part. You're going from the past, which is awesome, but at the end of the day, it's going to end up Rise of Skywalker. It's going to be shit. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
It really is unfortunate. It's unfortunate that this trilogy.
It's not a simple solution at all.
There is no. I don't think there is. I really don't. I think that the only way that you do it is to be like, yeah, we fucked up, but we're gonna.
And going back further into the past, I think is a total fucking mistake. Like that whole High Republic shit. That's no. I don't think that's. I am not for that.
I'm interested to see what they do. I don't think that's the answer to their problem.
I don't think that's I don't think they should go anywhere near there.
Oh, it's too late. They're going. They're doing it.
They are going. Well, we'll see what happens, but.
Oh, the books are written. The books are written. They're just gonna come out.
The movies now they're gonna make, right?
The movies may very well be what we're getting. I don't.
Well, we don't know what the fuck they're writing, right?
Yeah, we have no idea.
Waititi is writing. Ryan Johnson's still doing, right?
Allegedly, Kevin Feige's doing something now. I'll tell you what. Marvel better hope that he doesn't be like, you know what? I'm doing Star Wars now. You know,
do a fucking Taika Waititi's Darth Vader, like fucking A.
Oh, I wouldn't want him to do Darth Vader. I wouldn't want him to do Darth Vader. I want him to do something separate. I want Kevin Feige to do Darth Vader.
Darth Vader, he's fucking hunting down fucking Jedi to the left. Crazy shit. It would be fucking great. It would be great. Like I told you, like I said it before they did the Rogue One. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
We were on a cast, and I said the way Darth Vader is. Like, it would be like a fucking horror movie. Remember I told you? He would wipe people out. And they did that in fucking Rogue One. And I'm like, that's exactly what I envisioned.
Yeah.
Like a goddamn horror movie. They're screaming. The fucking face is in dread. They're running from this beast, this creature, trying to get the fucking plans out. That was exactly what I always envisioned. And then after you saw Rogue One, you're like, well, he went easy on Luke.
That would, absolutely.
Yeah.
Both in that and Return of the Jedi. Until Luke tapped into the dark side at the end.
He went easy on him, yeah.
You know, but my thing is that if they did a Darth Vader movie and they did it well, that's how you get people back into the theater.
Right.
For Star Wars. That's how you do it.
Darth Vader 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. I mean,
that's it.
I also believe that they should recast Luke and do a young Luke movie as well.
Just get the guy from fucking Winter Soldier, Sebastian Stan.
Sebastian Stan.
Let's
exactly.
go.
Or somebody.
Absolutely go.
Because that, you know, if you give Luke some, you know, dignity again.
But you would have to recast Leia too. You would have to have Billy Lord. Would have to be Leia.
Somebody.
Billy Lawrence.
Personally, I would want a Luke Skywalker movie where he's just doing his own thing, and he's not with Leia and Han.
Yeah, but you don't think we cast Han too?
No, I don't think they would have. I mean, they already did, so they have somebody for Han.
Well, they're gonna get the same person.
I would. I liked him as Han Solo.
I mean,
I actually just rewatched Solo.
Yeah.
I rewatched Solo again a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And I actually think that it is the most Star Wars movie of the Disney era. It feels the most like Star Wars out of anything they've done.
And they should make sequels, you think?
I think they should do something with him on Disney Plus.
Solo. Well, they're doing Lando, aren't they?
Well, that Donald Glover's Lando is supposed to come back in something.
Yeah.
And I liked him as Lando too, but I
loved him as Lando.
I think that what's his name, Ironreich. I think he did. I thought he was a really good young Han Solo, and I was like, you know what? If they did more with him, I'd be okay with it.
And he's a little older now, so
yeah,
might work out. So yeah, that's the Star Wars thing, and then we got the Marvel thing, which is totally. I have a question for you because I was thinking about this the other day, right? Thanos made the first snap, right?
Yep.
And then he went in a portal when he went away, right?
Yep.
And when they find him, they find that the gauntlet is fucking. The stones are destroyed.
Yeah, he destroyed them. Yeah.
Now, did he destroy them or did the snap destroy them?
He did it a second time and destroyed them.
He did a snap to destroy the gems.
Yes.
So a second snap destroyed with the conscious thought of the gems being destroyed.
Yes, and that's what messed him up so bad.
So now, I'm glad you clarified that because if they would have said that the snap destroyed the gems, then I'd be like that would have made no sense because in the past, getting the gems and using the snap to save everybody would have destroyed the gems.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's how they found him in Endgame. The energy surge, they detected another energy surge like the one when he did the first snap.
Right, he did another snap.
And they were like, oh, that's where he is.
But I thought the gems could not be destroyed.
No, they could be because Scarlet Witch destroyed the Mind Stone in Infinity War. And
then he reversed it.
Yeah, the linking point there is that basically you have to use the gems to destroy the gems. Nothing else can.
Because in the comics they were making like that the time gem wouldn't be destroyed because the time gem could restore all the other gems.
It can in the MCU as well. That's how he restored the Mind Stone.
Right. So it's interesting, like because the Russos talking about Secret Wars is like that's what they're going to be building for the next 5 years.
That's been thrown around a lot lately. Yeah.
Yeah, and people really like that because there's a lot of things they could do, and the mutants too. They got to bring into it. So.
Yep.
I do feel that the whole concept of let's kill everybody and have new characters is wrong. I heard that they're going to kill Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk and She-Hulk to boost her. And I'm against it.
I could see that, yeah.
And I heard that Chris Hemsworth is not happy that maybe he's going to die in Thor: Love and and he does not want to give up the title.
He's either going to die or get deemed unworthy.
Well, I heard he might die. And this is the thing that I'm really against because they are so banking on new characters that they really believe that they can just make anything go on forever and not have anything attached to the past. Like, in other words, just do away with every single Avengers, have all brand new ones. It's not going to work. Like,
yeah, especially if they're being led by like freaking Captain Marvel.
It's not going to work, and people like I don't know how to say this. Like even in the comics, they don't have a whole team completely different because they've tried that. Like there's always like Captain America's there, right? Hulk's there, Thor's, somebody's there, right?
Yeah.
You're literally trying to make a whole brand new team with nobody familiar. It's not going to work. Like you have, and then what's going to happen is, the thing I'm worried about is they're going to panic. Because they're going to be like, we fucked up. We need to fix this. So now we got to get everybody back. And then you're going to really have a fucking problem. I don't think you needed to kill Iron Man. I don't think you needed to kill Black Widow. And I'll say it to him blue in the face that I don't see Steve Rogers giving the gem back to Nazi fucking Red Skull, no matter the circumstances, no matter the universe in peril. And I would think he would ask for her to bring Brooke back to life, to give the gem back, a soul for the soul gem. Because if you sacrifice a soul to get the gem, why can't you give the gem back and get a soul back? Like it shouldn't work like that.
It probably does. Like if you probably can do that.
It should. I'll give you the gem back, but bring back Natasha. I'd be like, okay, you know, it's like that's what I see happening. I honestly don't see her staying dead, and I have no problem with her coming back at all.
But the problem with that though is you're returning the well, no, actually no, that does work.
That works.
She died in that timeline. So
yeah. Iron Man, I feel, should be still alive. And then
I don't think Tony Stark is actually dead. I'm gonna say this to him.
Yeah, I said that. I think his
consciousness is still uploaded.
Right, and someone's gonna give him a new body, like a clone
I'm telling
body.
you, watch the end of Endgame. He looks right at Morgan. That hologram looks right at Morgan.
Which, again, I'm gonna say this. People know Doctor Who. Robert Downey Jr. is a fan of the Doctor, and they did that in Doctor Who when Christopher Eccleston is "Have a Good Life, Rose," and then his hologram turned to Rose to look at her and say, "Have a good life," and that's where they got it from, because he's a fan of Doctor Who. They're fans of Doctor Who. They took it directly from that, and he's definitely alive. He's definitely I told you, there's going to be a movie, probably in Spider-Man, where Tony Stark, you're going to see Robert Downey Jr. hologram talking to the villain, right? He's going to be cracking jokes, but he's going to make it like he's AI. And the villain's going to go to the AI. He's like, I know you're in there. I know it's you, Tony. I'm going to kill Peter Parker right now. What are you going to do about it? And he's going to be like, I don't care. And then you're going to see the armor attack the villain. And it's going to be revealed the AI is Tony Stark. I'm telling you, that scene is going to happen. I'm 100% convinced that it's going to happen. And
but they also have an out, too, because they didn't destroy or dismantle their time travel technology. So if they could go that
they said they were going to say that in She-Hulk, that it was destroyed.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. And I honestly, he's re-signed anyway. So that's what I heard. So he's going to be in whatever. So I'm happy about that. Keep Chris Hemsworth. Keep Mark Ruffalo. Chris Evans will come back in a couple of years. Who cares?
There's no reason to kill these characters off. Like, really, when you think about it.
Not really. Nobody's looking forward for them to die. Nobody. And the fact that technically, I mean, you could probably bring Thanos back too, would be mute anyway. I mean, here's the thing. Let's just throw something out there, right? What are the odds that Thanos tricked everyone into believing he destroyed the gems so they would get off his back? And he used the reality gem to create the thing that's the way it appeared. That it just appeared, they chopped his head off and everything. How do we know that that's all bullshit? Like that's not real. Like it could be he's still alive and he's just whatever. How do we know?
I mean, he could be. I don't think that's the direction they're going to go in.
Yeah.
I don't want to have somebody. I honestly think that either the next big villain is either going to be Doctor Doom or Galactus. To be honest with you.
Well, Secret Wars is going to start because Chosen One told the Hulk, Bruce Banner, if they don't put the gems back exactly where they are, there's going to be a massive problem.
Yeah.
And they did it because Loki got away.
Yeah.
No matter what, there's no way that Steve Rogers is going to know where Loki is. So that's Secret Wars right there. Now you're going to have King the Conqueror. Now you're going to have all kinds of shit because that's Secret Wars. That's Secret Wars. That whole thing.
Allegedly, Kang the Conqueror is going to be in the Loki show.
Right.
So I don't think he's going to be the big villain.
Well, he's going to be connected to it because, again, Kang the Conqueror is a descendant of either Doctor Doom, Reed Richards, or both.
Well, here's the thing. Yes, I know that is true. However, that does not necessarily have to be true for the MCU.
Correct, but it will be because now you see this person that's a villain in the future, but that could be a thing to bring in now Doctor Doom as the villain of Secret Wars.
It's possible, but if I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I think they're gonna change Kang's origin. And if he's in Loki, I think he's gonna be a completely different version of himself than what we know. I could be wrong, but I have a funny feeling that they're gonna go, you know what? We're gonna do it like this.
Because you could use Kang to bring Deadpool in too.
I think Deadpool's gonna come in no matter what.
Yeah.
At this point, but I heard that there's some problems with that too.
Yeah, there's a massive battle because they as much as they said it's going to be the same, and rated R, it's not going to be. He does not want it rated R, and Ryan Reynolds wants it rated R, and so does Rob Liefeld, and there's a whole battle like you wouldn't believe right now. So, all right, I know it's getting late. I know you got to go to work tomorrow. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
All right. Thank you, Chris. I hope you guys enjoyed everything show. We just had the 7-year anniversary. I'm so happy.
Congratulations.
I know, right? So many. This is the 2,219th everything show. Wow. 2 years. I'm sorry, not 2 years. 7 years. Jesus. All right. Here's the 7 more. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye for now.